In this world, there are two types of fear known to humans: rational and irrational fears. A rational fear makes sense. For example, a fear of the unknown, which is the backbone of all human fears, experienced by everyone. Meanwhile, an irrational fear makes no sense, such as a fear of balloons. Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Perez, and today we will be overcoming one of, if not the most common, irrational fears experienced by humans in this world. In a society where more and more people have the opportunity to speak up about our injustices, about our inequalities, less and less of us are using the opportunity simply because we don't know how. But today we'll be discussing 5-ish tips on how to seize the opportunity and how to deliver your message to your audience efficiently and effectively, and how to have lots of fun while doing it. Isn't that what's important? But first of all, let's look at some facts. First of all, studies show that around 75% of the population hates public speaking. That means that 6.2 billion people in this world hate public speaking. That's a lot of people. So if you hate right now, don't worry, you're not alone. But at the end of this presentation, hopefully, if everything goes right, only 6.2 billion people on this world will still hate public speaking. Another important thing to remember is that although public speakers may seem like extroverts, the two are actually not linked to each other. And it seems like all public speakers just love being new people and, starting conversations and doing whatever they want. This often is not the case. I mean, even I have trouble raising my hand in class sometimes. But the good thing about this is that it means anyone can become a public speaker. Even you, and you, and you in the back. Well, maybe. I'll get back to you. You hang in there. Now let's start with the 5-ish steps. But first of all, before we can get started, we first need to stop and analyze precisely why we are so afraid of public speaking in the first place. So let's get some hands. Who here can answer this here question? Why are we so scared anyways? Yes, you, sir. Good answer, good answer. I'm sure some of you can relate. So I noticed, however, that most of you did not raise your hands. That's interesting. How interesting. Well, if you ask people, why are you so afraid of public speaking? They might think, well, what if I make a mistake in my presentation? What if I look uneasy or awkward? And I'm afraid of failing to deliver my message. But not just that. They really mean, I'm afraid of failing. But not just that. I'm afraid of failing in front of all these people. But fear not. Today we're going to conquer that fear. Hit it right in the face. And here's how. That's weird. Now, this is going to sound incredibly dumb. How will you do this? If you tell yourself not to care, you're going to want to care a lot. Isn't that reverse psychology? But think about this. When was the last time you did something really embarrassing? Maybe you fell down the stairs. Or maybe you fell up the stairs. Or maybe you decided to give a TED Talk about something you knew nothing about. How long ago is that? That was pretty recent for me. Now, think about the last time that you saw your parent or your guardian embarrass themselves. Or maybe even your best friend, anyone other than you. How long ago was that? Think about that. You done? Okay. So now if you compare those two times, chances are your embarrassing moment happened more recently. And no, your family's not paid actors. Maybe, I don't know if you're Truman. It's called the spotlight effect. You think that everyone notices every embarrassing thing you do, no matter how big or how small it is. But here's a newsflash. You are one person out of 8.2 billion people alive today. So don't worry. Nobody will remember what you did, Andy. But I will. Except for me. But in all seriousness, if you can truly convince yourself the truth that everyone has the memory of a goldfish when it comes to these things, your confidence will surge. We shouldn't be afraid of speaking in general. Now that's just irrational. And you know what that means now, don't you? So just like how someone who's scared of sharks is not scared of sharks per se, but of shark attacks, we can say that we are not afraid of the speaking, but of the people. Now, if you already know exactly what you're going to say, that's going to be easy because you'll be too busy speaking to worry about what the audience has to think about you. I'll remember to look at the audience occasionally. Just don't stare. I found that's quite hard to stare at over 35 people at once because if you move your eyes, you're not staring. But if you don't, you can't stare at more than 35 people at a time. I call it the trying to stare at more than 35 people at a time paradox. It could use some work. When you first start as a presenter, the first mistake you're going to make is putting every word you're going to say on the slide. Sure, this makes it super easy to remember what to say and look like you did a lot of preparation, but nobody will want to read your 5-point definition and will probably read it faster off the slide than you can anyways. And this is also a great way to ensure you never look at your audience even once. Lorem ipsum. What you should be doing instead is you should be utilizing bullet points. You should be utilizing transitions and also putting what you're going to say in the speaker notes of your presentation so that you know what you're going to say beforehand. But the number one thing you should be doing every single day is practicing. If you can understand everything on your presentation, you'll seem confident, intelligent, and prepared, which you hopefully are. Hopefully. Let's say that right after this presentation, you go and you use all that you've learned in this wonderful TED Talk, and you absolutely bomb. Well, there's no need to squatulate. Almost no one is perfect the first time they experience and deliver a presentation or speech. The art of public speaking takes time and experience to truly become skilled in the craft. And you will make mistakes the first time you try it. That's a fact of nature. In the wise words of Mr. Nariyoshi Miyagi from The Karate Kid, Daniel, first learn stand, then learn fly. Now go paint my house. I think that's what he said at least. The point being, even if you follow every step in this TED Talk, you might still suck at first. But if you get over the initial molehills, you'll find great success in your skills as long as you keep being passionate and trying your hardest about this subject and all others in your life as well. Public speaking is like working out. Nobody starts out as this guy. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, you are this guy. But if you really put effort into your speaking skills, you'll become this guy metaphorically. And that's what I love about public speaking. It's just so great. Anyone can become this guy. Literally anyone. You can, and even you back there. I think you can this time. And who here has read To Kill a Mockingbird? Okay, I'm glad to see that most of you have because it was a required book in 9th grade English. But anyways, Atticus Finch, the main character from To Kill a Mockingbird, is a great character. And I can go on and on talking about how amazing he is because I had to write multiple essays about him. But he is ultimately unwilling to make sacrifices to lifestyle, which is his fatal flaw. If you want to make change in your life, you're going to have to make sacrifices. Instead of scrolling Instagram Reels or, God forbid, TikTok all day, go up to random people and talk to them. It will be insanely uncomfortable the first 1,000 times or so you do it, but by doing this, you not only learn how to, quote, just stop caring so much, step 1, you'll also develop the on-the-fly back-and-forth skills you'll need for the Q&A section of your presentation, and also for all the praise you'll get after your incredible presentation using these tips. This is just one way of incorporating public speaking into your life, but the point is that you'll have to practice public speaking every day of your life if you want to get good at it, just like other skills. So here's how. Try making calls instead of texting. Try making new friends. Try joining clubs in your school. Any change you make in life, small or big, will be another step along your journey to become the best there ever was. People say that if you want to be really, really good at something, like a master, a pro at it, whether that's a sport or a game or a class, you need to do that thing or study that thing until you absolutely despise it. Public speaking is the opposite of that, however. It's the opposite of a sport or a game. When you start playing basketball or baking pies or binge watching My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, it's incredibly fun at first, or so I've heard. But if you truly want to become the best, you'll have to practice so much watching or playing or cooking, baking, that you won't have time to do anything else of your life. That's sad. But the best part about public speaking is that you don't have to do that. You don't have to practice it nearly as much as everything else because you do it every single day of your life. Isn't that just swell? So here's a summary. Don't care about embarrassing mistakes too much. Practice your slides daily. Don't memorize. Understand at least 20%. Ignore the audience. Don't ignore the audience. Give speeches and presentations regularly, but not too regularly. Learn from your mistakes, but don't care about them. See the first point. Join Chess Club, Google. Oh, wait, this is the wrong summary. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry. This is the actual summary. In case you want to take a picture for reference. Could do it faster though. And I'll point out one last thing. You'll see that the last bullet point, have fun and be yourself, is gigantic compared to the others. This is because public speaking should be just as fun as any other thing you do in your life. Don't make it so that public speaking is a hard thing that you have to stay up all night doing. It should be just as fun as playing your favorite video game or, binge watching My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. You should make it fun for yourself in your own way. And you can, easily as ever, if you learn these skills. Thanks for listening.